Imagine a civilization so advanced it could rival the gods, yet vanished overnight, swallowed by the sea, leaving behind only an ancient legend. What would that look like? Atlantis. A name that sparks the imagination. A place of golden wisdom and unbelievable technology, yet wiped from history by a single cataclysmic disaster. Did it really exist? Was it a beacon from humanity's forgotten past? Or just a story invented by philosophers to warn of our own downfall? Could its secret still lie hidden beneath the waves? Or even point to visitors from the stars? Hey everyone, I'm Youngshin. Atlantis is no ordinary myth. It's a riddle that has baffled scholars, scientists, and adventurers alike for more than 2,000 years. The first account came from Greek philosopher Plato, who wrote about it in his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. He described an island utopia, bigger than continents and richer than empires. A golden age of prosperity that lures us even today. So, what makes Atlantis so fascinating? Is it because it portrays a society that mastered the seas and built cities of incredible complexity, only to be devoured by a disaster of biblical proportions? Or is it the hope that its ruins still wait to be found, holding answers to questions we dare not ask? Plato described Atlantis as a paradise beyond the Pillars of Hercules. The Pillars of Hercules is the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar, where the Mediterranean flows out into the vast unknown Atlantic. It was said to be a land of staggering abundance, with fertile plains rich in crops, forests teeming with life, and mountains full of resources. At its heart stood a capital like no other, an engineering marvel, with concentric waterways connected by canals. Its walls gleamed with red, white, and black stone, covered with precious metals, bronze, tin, and a mysterious alloy called orichalcum, said to be more precious than gold. Towering over the city was a temple to Poseidon, god of the sea. The Atlanteans worshipped him with devotion. Inside stood a massive golden statue depicting Poseidon driving a chariot pulled by winged horses. Plato tells us the people of Atlantis were no ordinary mortals. They were descendants of Poseidon and a mortal woman named Cleito, founding a society of unmatched sophistication. Their fleets ruled the seas. Their armies were unstoppable. Their culture blended wisdom and innovation. They built canals for transport and irrigation, smelted metals with advanced techniques, and designed their cities with near supernatural precision. For centuries, they lived in harmony, guided by their divine heritage toward prosperity. But this utopia was never meant to last. As their power grew, so too did their ambition. Greed replaced virtue, and the Atlanteans set out to conquer the world, including Athens, which Plato praised as a model of virtue. According to Plato, this arrogance angered the gods, who unleashed devastating punishment. Earthquakes and floods, in just a single day and night, drag Atlantis into the depths. This dramatic tale sparked endless questions. How could a civilization so grand vanish without leaving a single trace behind? Could earthquakes, tsunamis, or volcanic eruptions really destroy an entire island in just hours? Some scholars believe Plato created the story of Atlantis as a philosophical warning, a lesson about the dangers of pride and unchecked power. But some believe he was inspired by real-world events, maybe a hazy memory of a disaster that reshaped an ancient culture. A memory around 1600 BC. The Santorini volcano erupted in the Aegean Sea. It's a prime suspect. The massive eruption and the tsunamis it unleashed wiped out the Minoan civilization. That destruction may have fueled Plato's tale, a story that morphed as it passed down through generations. But could it be more complicated? Could it hint at something beyond history itself? That's where the controversy deepens. No solid evidence of Atlantis has ever been found. No ruins, no artifacts, no inscriptions, just Plato's words. And yet, that very absence only fuels speculation. Explorers have searched the globe, from the sunlit Mediterranean to the icy depths of the Atlantic, from Caribbean reefs to desert sands. Some point to the island of Santorini, where the Minoan city of Akrotiri was buried beneath volcanic ash. Others look toward Yonaguni in Japan, with its strange underwater formations, or to the Sahara Desert, where the eye of the desert stirs curiosity. Each theory pushes us to wonder more deeply. Was Atlantis really just a myth? Or was it a forgotten chapter of humanity, waiting to be rediscovered, a lost past? And what if we push the boundary even further? What if Atlantis wasn't just a human creation, but a civilization touched by something supernatural? A force inspired by ancient texts and mysterious archaeological finds. Modern theorists have suggested ideas straight out of science fiction. What if the Atlanteans had mastered technology so advanced it seemed alien? The mysterious metal orichalcum has sparked endless curiosity. Some think it was a rare alloy. Others say it was stranger still, a substance from another realm. In fringe circles, legends linger of a power source that fueled an entire city. Stories echoed in books and documentaries about ancient mysteries. Some even claim Atlantis was a hub for extraterrestrial visitors, a base where beings from the stars shared knowledge, until a cosmic disaster wiped it away. Mainstream scholars dismiss such theories, but they echo something deeper. Humanity's constant search for answers among the stars. From the Sumerians to the Mayans, myths of lost worlds are everywhere. Great floods, godlike beings shaping civilization. Could these be fragments of a shared memory? A global network of advanced societies. With Atlantis at its heart, it's an enticing possibility. And what if Atlantis didn't fall to natural disaster, but was deliberately reset because it grew too powerful, too close to secrets that were meant to stay hidden? The lack of evidence only adds to its allure, hinting at a cover-up, or perhaps an erasure so complete it defies understanding. Why has Atlantis endured in our collective imagination? It's not just a story. It's a mirror, reflecting our drive to explore the unknown, our need to believe that our ancestors achieved unimaginable greatness. It challenges science. It calls us to explore the hidden corners of our world. Whether Atlantis lies beneath the waves, buried in the desert, or only within Plato's dialogues, it stands as a beacon of mystery, a reminder of how close humanity once reached toward the divine, yet it slipped into the forgotten ages. As we continue this journey, we'll dive deep into Plato's vivid vision of Atlantis, a world so real, it feels like you could almost reach out and touch it. We'll explore its golden temples, its intricate canals, and the clues that might reveal where it truly was. Get ready to step into a realm where myth and reality intertwine. A place where the past holds secrets that could change everything we believe. Imagine a city with golden statues towering over canals that pulsed like veins of a living being. Walls gleaming with metals unknown to modern science. A civilization thriving in harmony with the divine. This was Plato's Atlantis. A utopia so alive, it seemed ready to rise from the sea tomorrow. In the dialogues Timaeus and Critias written more than 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher painted a world that fused astonishing glory with an enduring mystery. As we step into this ancient tale, we find details so extraordinary. It's hard to believe he made it all up. What secrets did Atlantis hold? And why has its story drawn us into a labyrinth of history and imagination? Plato's Atlantis was more than just a place. It was a testament to both human potential and peril. He described it as an island larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined, lying beyond the Pillars of Hercules, where the Mediterranean meets the vast Atlantic. This was no ordinary land. Its plains were fertile, its forests alive with abundance, its mountains rich with resources. At its heart lay the capital, a city beyond compare, designed with concentric rings of water linked by canals. These waterways weren't just beautiful. They were masterpieces of urban planning. They served as defensive moats, transport routes, and systems of water management. The outermost ring was a bustling harbor, where ships from across the world converged. The canals connected these rings to the sea, allowing smooth flow of goods and people. A grand canal, 50 stadia long, linked the capital directly to the coast. Guard towers and gates controlled entry along its banks. This was no chaotic sprawl. It was a meticulously designed metropolis. Its very layout proved how deeply this society mastered its environment. Water management was at the core of Atlantis's ingenuity. Plato described how springs from the mountains and hot springs underground were channeled into the city, providing drinking water and baths. The water rings also served as irrigation, feeding the plains that made Atlantis so abundant. Vast plains, stretching 2,000 stadia long and 3,000 stadia wide, became unmatched granaries, hinting at advanced farming techniques. The Atlanteans may have used crop rotation, soil enrichment, even early forms of mechanized work, boosting yields in ways revolutionary for their time. Such systems required not only engineering skill, but also deep knowledge of hydrology and agriculture, fields that took other civilizations centuries to develop. The materials used in Atlantis's architecture have fueled speculation about their technological prowess. The city's walls were built from red, white, and black stone quarried from the island. The outer layers were clad in metal, the outer rings in brass, and the innermost in a mysterious alloy called orichalcum. Plato wrote that orichalcum, second only to gold, was the most precious of all metals. It was mined in many parts of the island and used to adorn buildings and craft artifacts. But what exactly was this metal? Some scholars believe it may have been a copper alloy, perhaps bronze, or something very much like it. It was prized for its faint reddish glow. Some speculate it might have been a long-lost material, with a composition unknown to modern science. The precision of Atlantean metalwork shows they mastered advanced metallurgy, smelting, alloying, and casting, skills that rivaled, if not surpassed, Egyptian and Greek civilizations. The Temple of Poseidon was the spiritual and cultural heart of Atlantis, a monument to their legacy. Plato described a magnificent building, its walls and columns inlaid with orichalcum, shimmering like gold. The sight must have been dazzling. At the temple's center stood a colossal statue of Poseidon, crafted from solid gold, riding a chariot pulled by 6 winged horses. To build a statue that may have towered several stories high required not just artistry, but also engineering know-how and deep knowledge of materials science. The temple's design, with its ornate details and solid structure, showed a culture with both artistic vision and technical expertise, skills that could challenge even modern builders. Atlantis also had advanced military infrastructure, hinting at their technological edge. Copper ring fortifications formed strong defenses. Water channels acted as natural barriers. Roadways were reinforced with walls and towers. Plato noted that each ring was guarded by ships and soldiers, strictly controlling access. Navigable canals were patrolled to prevent enemies from slipping in unnoticed. This blend of natural and man-made defenses showed a grasp of military engineering equal to fortified cities of later empires. Atlantis boasted a massive navy with thousands of ships that ruled the seas. Their armies rode chariots, marched as cavalry and infantry, and expanded across continents. Running such a war machine required logistics, supply chains, communication networks, and training systems, all pointing to a highly organized society. Beyond their obvious achievements, Plato's descriptions raise questions about less visible technologies. Their ability to manage vast resources suggests an administrative system, like a modern bureaucracy. Their trade networks drew merchants from faraway lands, implying they had navigation tools and seafaring knowledge. Perhaps even early maps or primitive compasses. Their land was said to be incredibly fertile, suggesting advanced farming innovations, like terracing or irrigation pumps. Techniques later seen in Mesopotamia and civilizations like the Inca. Signs like these suggest Atlantis was a civilization that pushed the boundaries of what we think ancient societies could achieve. Here, history blurs into myth and imagination. Some modern theorists believe Atlantis wasn't just advanced. It was revolutionary, perhaps even influenced by extraterrestrials. The mysterious metal orichalcum, with no clear modern counterpart, fuels this speculation. Could it have been a superconductor? A material with unique properties that powered Atlantean machines. Fringe theories also claim the Atlanteans harnessed crystal energy, a concept echoed in myths from other cultures, like the sunstones mentioned in ancient texts. Some claim these crystals powered lighting, machines, even weapons, perhaps explaining Atlantis' dominance, though no archaeology supports this. Plato's precise descriptions, with exact measurements and detailed layouts, give a hint of credibility to the idea of a lost science. Which brings us to the most controversial theory, that Atlantean technology was not entirely of human origin. Some speculate that the Atlanteans were guided by extraterrestrial visitors. These alien beings imparted knowledge far beyond the Bronze Age. The golden statue of Poseidon, advanced canal systems, mysterious orichalcum, could all be traces of extraterrestrial influence? Erich von Däniken, author of works like Chariots of the Gods, and others have pointed out similarities in other ancient sites. The precisely cut stones of Puma Punku, the astronomical alignments of Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids. Atlantis. Could it have been a hub for such contact? A place where humans connected with the stars. Some believe its sudden destruction suggests a deliberate act, perhaps a complete withdrawal by extraterrestrial overseers, causing the Atlanteans to collapse under the weight of their own ambition. To test these ideas, let us compare Atlantis with known ancient civilizations. Around 2000 BCE, the flourishing Minoans built palaces with complex plumbing systems. Much like the metropolis of Atlantis, the Egyptians mastered metallurgy and monumental architecture, creating statues and temples that echo Plato's descriptions. The urban planning of the Indus Valley civilization, its cities and drainage systems, rival the urban complexity of Atlantis' capital. Yet none of these civilizations reached the scale of Atlantis as described by Plato. Nor did they vanish as suddenly as he claimed. The Minoans left ruins. The Egyptians left records. The Indus Valley left cities. But Atlantis left nothing behind. This absence challenges the notion of a supercivilization, suggesting Plato may have exaggerated real technologies to construct his narrative. Still, these similarities are intriguing. The Minoan Maritime Empire echoes Atlantis' naval dominance. Their frescoes depict vibrant trade networks, much like the markets Plato described. The copper alloys used by the Egyptians may hint at the identity of orichalcum, and their colossal statues rival the golden statue of Poseidon. Could Plato have drawn from these civilizations, taking their achievements and blending them into an idealized vision? His Atlantis is like a composite, woven from the essence of ancient wisdom, amplified to a mythical scale. Yet the specific details he describes, the exact dimensions of the canals, the rituals in the temple suggest a source, perhaps lost records from Egyptian archives, or forgotten oral traditions. The technological marvels of Atlantis also raise questions about its social structure. To sustain such a civilization, the Atlanteans must have had a sophisticated bureaucracy, with scribes, engineers, and planners coordinating their efforts. The royal rituals described by Plato imply a legal system rooted in tradition, with checks and balances to maintain unity. This level of organization requires education, literacy, and possibly even early forms of science. Did the Atlanteans develop mathematics, astronomy, or engineering principles earlier than known discoveries? The lack of artifacts makes this unprovable. But the idea lingers, with a tantalizing possibility of a lost golden age. As we marvel at Atlantis' achievements, we must confront a paradox. If its technology was so advanced, why did it vanish without a trace? As we have explored, natural disasters could explain the island's destruction, but the absence of tools or relics, the lack of evidence, suggests either complete annihilation or that its origins are fictional. Some believe Atlantis' foundation was too advanced, deliberately hidden by survivors. These survivors scattered across the world, bringing fragments of their knowledge to Egypt, Mesoamerica, and beyond. Others propose that the gods, to protect its secrets, erased Atlantis, leaving humanity to rediscover over millennia lost memories. The truth of Atlantis' technology remains elusive, a blend of plausible engineering and bold speculation. Plato's descriptions are vivid, feeling like a window into a real place. But its absence in history marks it as a legend. Was Atlantis a super civilization? Its wonders forgotten by time? or created by a philosopher to inspire awe and reflection? With this question, let us turn to other legendary cities, El Dorado and the continent of Mu. Like Atlantis, they ignite our imagination with tales of lost glory. Could these myths share a common thread? A memory of a forgotten world? Let us explore these lost realms together, seeking the secrets that tie them to the enigma of Atlantis. Let us begin with El Dorado. This city of gold captivated Spanish conquistadors, inspiring centuries of exploration. In the 16th century, during the conquest of the Americas, this legend was born, telling of a place so wealthy. Its streets were paved with gold. Its ruler, in sacred rituals, bathed in glittering dust. This story traces back to the Muisca people of modern-day Colombia, who lived in the highlands of the Andes. The Muisca were a sophisticated culture known for gold craftsmanship. They held ceremonies at Lake Guatavita, where their leader, coated in resin and dusted with gold, plunged into sacred waters as an offering to the gods. This gilded man became the seed of a legend. This legend later evolved into a city of unimaginable wealth, its location shifting with each failed expedition. Spaniards, driven by tales of treasure, scoured the Andes for El Dorado. Explorers like Francisco Pizarro, conqueror of the Inca, and Francisco de Orellana, who sailed the Amazon River. In modern-day Colombia, Venezuela, and even the jungles of Guyana, searched for traces of the Golden City. The promised treasure was beyond imagination. Temples adorned with gold, streets gleaming with gems. Yet every expedition ended in failure. Disease, harsh terrain, and death in dense forests. The Muisca's true wealth, their exquisite gold artifacts, was plundered, but the city of gold was never found. In the 19th century, treasure seekers drained Lake Guatavita, finding only a few offerings. But no legendary city. Was El Dorado a misunderstanding? A ritual inflated by greedy conquistadors into a myth? Or does a lost city truly lie in the depths of the Amazon? Recent archeological discoveries in the Amazon, like the settlements of Apano, reveal complex societies with roads and canals, suggesting a possibility of the complexity that inspired such legends. Could El Dorado be one of these lost cities? Its golden aura, a poetic exaggeration of a thriving culture, or is there a darker possibility? Its location deliberately hidden by survivors, its treasures protected from plunder by invaders. Let us dare to imagine. Could El Dorado be part of a larger network of advanced civilizations? A network lost to time. Some even link it directly to Atlantis itself. The precision and artistry of the Muisca's gold work show their incredible mastery of metallurgy, echoing Plato's descriptions of orichalcum. Some fringe theorists even suggest that just like Atlantis, ancient travelers once visited this land, maybe even beings from beyond Earth, sharing their knowledge of building and metallurgy. The legendary promise of El Dorado's wealth may be a distorted memory of that contact. A city built to honor a divine or extraterrestrial gift. Although mainstream archaeology rejects these ideas, the myth of the Golden City continues to echo across cultures. From Inca legends to tales in India, all of it pointing to humanity's shared fascination with a lost paradise. Now, let's turn to Aztlan, the mythical homeland of the Aztecs. In Nahuatl, its name means the place of herons. According to legend, the Mexica who built the mighty Tenochtitlan Empire came from a mysterious northern island, or land known as Aztlan. In the late 13th century, under the guidance of their god Huitzilopochtli, they left their ancestral home and began a migration lasting nearly 200 years. At the end of their journey, they witnessed a sacred sign: an eagle perched on a cactus, clutching a snake in its beak. This vision appeared on an island in Lake Texcoco, inspiring them in 1325 to found Tenochtitlan, what we know today as Mexico City. The image of the eagle and cactus still appears on Mexico's flag today, a lasting tribute to Aztlan's influence. But where exactly was this legendary homeland? And what secrets does it hide? The Aztecs described Aztlan as a rich, fertile land, surrounded by water, with reeds and wetlands, defining its landscape. Some accounts suggest it may have been a lakeside city in northern Mexico or the American Southwest. One candidate is Mexico's Mezcaltitlan Island in Nayarit, whose circular layout and watery surroundings mirror the design of Tenochtitlan itself. Scholars suggest the Mexica may have modeled their capital on the memory of Aztlan, building canals and pyramids to honor their lost homeland. Other theories place Aztlan further north, in Zacatecas, or even New Mexico. Ancient lake beds there hint at once thriving environments, yet no solid archaeological evidence, number ruins, inscriptions, or artifacts has ever confirmed Aztlan's location, leaving it shrouded in mystery. The enigma of Aztlan has sparked endless debate. Could it have been a real city? A prosperous settlement, lost to drought or conflict? Preserved only in memory? Spanish chroniclers recorded detailed Aztec accounts of it, hinting that it may have had a historical basis. But oral traditions often blur the line between fact and myth. Some believe Aztlan was never a literal place, but a symbolic one, a spiritual point of origin that embodied the Mexica identity. Others go even further, suggesting it may be linked to Atlantis, both perhaps remnants of a forgotten global civilization, maybe even one guided by beings from the stars. After all, the Aztecs advanced astronomy, mathematics, and city planning bear striking similarities to the complexity that Plato attributed to Atlantis. The parallels are hard to ignore. Could Aslan have been a colony? Or maybe the remnants of an even greater culture? A story carried across oceans through ancient voyages. Now, let's talk about Mu, the lost continent of the Pacific. A legend as bold as Atlantis itself. In the 19th century, explorer Augustus Laplangen suggested that Mu was once a vast landmass in the Pacific, a homeland that existed before all other civilizations. While studying the Mayan ruins of the Yucatan Peninsula, Laplangen claimed to have translated the Troano Codex, a Mayan manuscript he believed described Mu, the true cradle of humanity. According to his theory, the people of Mu built pyramids, mastered technology, and around 12,000 BC, when the Ice Age ended, they spread civilization to Egypt, Mesoamerica, and beyond. As their homeland sank beneath the waves, he believed this catastrophic loss explained the similarities between distant cultures, from pyramids to writing systems. Though modern scholars have dismissed Laplangen's ideas, his theories captured the imagination of the public. His translations were later shown to be riddled with errors and speculation. But the concept of Mu had already taken root. In the early 20th century, it was popularized by writers like James Churchward. Churchward claimed to have discovered ancient tablets in India, describing an advanced society on Mu, with cities, roads, and millions of people. He placed Mu in the Pacific, stretching from Hawaii all the way to Easter Island, and he claimed it vanished due to volcanoes or massive shifts in the Earth's crust. This idea echoed the myths of lost lands found across Pacific cultures, like Hawaii's legends of Hawaii, or Polynesian stories of sunken islands. This sparked the question, was Mu real? Could it even have been Atlantis's counterpart in the Pacific? Science, however, offers a very different answer. The theory of plate tectonics, the foundation of modern geology, shows no evidence of a sunken supercontinent in the Pacific. Detailed mapping of the ocean floor reveals chains of volcanoes and seamounts, not drowned continents. The cultural similarities that Laplangen and Churchward pointed to across civilizations are now explained as parallel evolution. Different peoples, facing similar challenges, coming up with similar solutions. But the lack of evidence hasn't dimmed the allure of Mu. Alternative theorists imagine it as a center of advanced technology, its people wielding energy, and even supernatural powers. Some even link Mu to Atlantis itself, both outposts of a lost global civilization, perhaps guided by alien manners. The mysterious structures off Yonaguni Island are often pointed to as remnants of Mu, though geologists say they're natural formations. El Dorado, Aslan, and Mu all share one thing in common. Their enduring allure pushes us to question the limits of history. Each one carries a shadow of Atlantis, a lost land of grandeur, preserved in myth, but absent from the archaeological record. El Dorado's golden promise drove explorers to map the Americas and uncover empires like the Inca. The myth of Aztlan helped shape Aztec identity, their capital a vision of lost ideals. And Mu, though discredited by science, still reflects humanity's longing for a single origin, a motherland that connects us all together. Could these myths share a common root? A faint memory of a forgotten world. The idea of a prehistoric network linking Atlantis with these legendary places is certainly tempting. Very tempting indeed. It suggests a world where knowledge flowed freely across the seas, a world whose secrets we've yet to rediscover. But these myths also carry a darker undertone. Each one tells a story of loss, not just of cities, but of ideals. El Dorado's golden promise sparked conquest and destruction. The migration from Aztlan hinted at conflict or environmental collapse. The silence of Mu evoked a disaster that ended a great civilization. And just like Atlantis, these stories warn us of the fragility of societies that rose to greatness only to fall. They challenge us to look deeper, to search for the truths hidden in legend. Could these lost cities be fragments of a larger puzzle? Pieces of a forgotten history, with Atlantis at its center. So let's shift from legend to real cities that vanished. Pompeii, anchor. Petra, unlike Atlantis. They left behind real ruins. Their stories, rooted in archaeology, may hold clues to the fate of their mythical counterparts. Let's start with Pompeii, a Roman city near modern-day Naples, Italy. It became immortal through one of history's most devastating disasters. On August 24th, 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted. With terrifying force, ash rained down, along with pumice and pyroclastic flows. Deadly gases and waves of lava destroyed everything. Pompeii, a thriving port city of about 11,000 people, was buried in just a few hours. Its sister city, Herculaneum, fell even faster. In the eruption's first stage, ash rained down, forcing people to flee or take shelter. By dawn, a surge of pyroclastic flows swept through, killing everyone left behind and sealing the city beneath meters of volcanic debris. Buried forever. As tragic as it was, this destruction preserved Pompeii like a time capsule. Its streets, its houses, even the bodies frozen in their final moments. In the 16th century, architect Domenico Fontana stumbled upon Pompeii while digging a canal. But in 1748, Spanish engineer Joaquín de Alcubierre began full-scale excavations. What they uncovered was a snapshot of Roman life. Villas with vibrant frescoes, bakeries with loaves still intact, theaters and temples to Apollo and Isis. Plaster casts of victims captured their last moments of agony and despair. A haunting reminder of the human cost. Amphory filled with wine, mosaics of myth. and graffiti scrawled on the walls. All painted a vivid picture of daily life. Merchants bargaining. Lovers declaring their passion. Politicians campaigning for office. Pompeii's preservation is unmatched, a window into a world, both distant and strangely familiar. But what truly caused Pompeii's downfall? The eruption of Vesuvius was a natural disaster born of instability. Part of the volcanic region of Campania. An earthquake in 62 AD had already damaged the city. But its people rebuilt, never realizing an even greater catastrophe was coming. The sudden eruption echoed Plato's account of Atlantis, a city wiped out in a single terrible day and night. Gone in an instant. Just as Atlantis was said to vanish beneath the waves, Pompeii was erased, a city lost in the span of a single day and night. Forever. The fate of Pompeii. Could it have inspired such stories? A real event woven into myth. The parallels are striking. A society thriving on trade and culture, wiped out by nature's fury. But unlike Atlantis, the ruins of Pompeii still remain, proving it truly existed. Its story reminds us, even the most vibrant cities can vanish. Their legacy survives only by chance. Now, let's journey to Cambodia, to Angkor, once the heart of the Khmer Empire, a wonder of Southeast Asia. From the 9th to the 15th century, Angkor was a massive metropolis. Its temples and reservoirs showcased Khmer genius. At its height, it housed nearly 1 million people, making it one of the largest cities of its time. Angkor Wat is the world's largest religious monument, the crown jewel of Angkor. Its towers symbolize Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. The sacred mountain at the center of the universe, Mount Meru. In the 12th century, King Suryavarman built Angkor Wat. Its bas-reliefs depict epic tales, mythical battles, and celestial dancers. Its alignment with the stars suggests advanced astronomical knowledge. By the 14th century, Angkor began to decline, a slow unraveling from many causes. Religious shifts from Hinduism to Buddhism, and back again. Disrupted social cohesion. New temples rose. Old ones fell into neglect. Invasions came from neighbors. The Mongol Yuan dynasty and the Ayutthaya kingdom of Siam, straining Angkor's defenses. By the 15th century, the Khmer capital was weakened, its people dwindling. By the 16th century, Angkor was abandoned, its temples swallowed by jungle. In 1860, French explorer Henry Mouat rediscovered Angkor. He found 910 monuments, from grand temples to crumbling reservoirs, all hidden under vines and roots. But what caused Angkor's collapse? The environment played a major role. Tree rings and sediment records reveal severe drought struck in the 14th and 15th centuries. Crops and farming suffered deeply. Angkor's vast water system, its canals, reservoirs, and basins, depended on monsoon rains to feed rice fields. When the rains failed, famine loomed. The population shrank. Then violent floods damaged the infrastructure, swamped the canals, and eroded the soil. Political instability, on top of these crises, split the empire through internal strife and external attack. By the time the capital shifted to Phnom Penh, Angkor was already a ghost city, its glory devoured by the forest. Angkor's story echoes Atlantis, a tale of grandeur and downfall. Its waterworks, like Atlantis canals, were engineering marvels, yet vulnerable to nature's unpredictability. Like the rulers of Atlantis, descendants of Poseidon, the Khmer's divine kings also faltered as their power waned. Angkor's decline, driven by nature and society, may mirror the silent fate of Atlantis itself. But unlike Atlantis, Angkor's ruins are real, now preserved as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They prove it once thrived. Its stones whisper of a civilization that reached for the divine yet returned to dust. Next, we travel to Jordan, to the Rose City of Petra. It rises from desert cliffs like a mirage. Petra's wealth came from its strategic position, taxing caravans laden with frankincense, myrrh, and spices. Its population is estimated to have been between 20,000 and 40,000 people. They lived in a city filled with tombs, temples, and theaters, all carved directly into the living rock. The true genius of Petra was its water management system. In a desert where rainfall was rare, the Nabateans built dams, channels, and reservoirs to collect and store water, supporting both farming and city life. Tunnels carved into the cliffs, and cisterns distributed water with precision. This achievement echoes the legendary waterworks of Atlantis. However, Petra's decline was as dramatic as its rise. In the 1st century AD, it fell under Roman control and lost its independence. Trade routes shifted to the sea, bypassing Petra and draining its lifeblood. Earthquakes in 363, 419, and 551, followed by tremors in 561 and 747, devastated the city. Salty groundwater rose up, corroding its buildings. By the 12th century, Petra was largely abandoned, its people scattered into smaller settlements. In 1812, Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt rediscovered Petra, unveiling a city frozen in time, its facades preserved by the arid desert air. Excavations revealed marketplaces, colonnaded streets, and an amphitheater for 7,000 people, as well as Byzantine era Christian churches. Like Atlantis, Petra's downfall was shaped by both human and natural forces. Economic decline, earthquakes, and environmental pressures all played their part. Its rock-cut architecture blended practicality with artistry. And just as Plato described Atlantis' capital with rings of water, one wonders, could Petra's advanced engineering hint at a shared heritage with a lost civilization? Or is its story simply another tale of human ambition undone? Pompeii, Anchor, and Petra, these real cities, stand in stark contrast to the elusive Atlantis. Their ruins, carefully unearthed, tell stories of rise and fall rooted in archaeology. Pompeii preserves a single frozen moment of disaster. Anchor's temples reveal a slow decline under environmental stress. Petra's cliffs bear witness to economic collapse and earthquakes. Yet their fates resonate with the legend of Atlantis. Whether sudden or gradual, each city eventually fell to forces beyond its control. Some theorists suggest a deeper link, that these cities inherited knowledge from a primeval civilization, perhaps even Atlantis itself. Anchor and Petra's water systems. Pompeii's city planning. Could these be echoes of Atlantean wisdom, passed down through forgotten channels? Though speculative, this idea is gaining traction in fringe circles. The precision of Petra's waterworks, the scale of Anchor's reservoirs, the artistry of Pompeii's frescoes, all suggest a complexity that may trace back to a common source. Some believe survivors of Atlantis, fleeing their sinking island, spread their knowledge across the world, influencing cultures from Rome to Cambodia. Others take it further, suggesting this knowledge came from extraterrestrials, pointing to global similarities in ancient engineering. As their evidence, mainstream archaeology, of course, credits human innovation. But the striking parallels among these cities keep fueling speculation about a mother civilization that once united distant lands. The allure of Atlantis lies in its mystery. A city swallowed by time. Its existence forever debated between history and legend. Yet some truths were once thought to be nothing but legend. Stories woven into epics and ancient texts. But now, they've stepped out from the shadows into the light. Troy, Mycenae, Babylon. Names like these once existed only in poetic imagination. Now they stand as undeniable proof of civilizations that shaped the ancient world, and they still endure today. As we explore their rediscovery, we uncover the stories that brought them back to life. And we wonder if these legendary cities prove to be real. Could Atlantis also be waiting for its moment of truth? Let's begin with Troy. The city of legend, once thought to be a fictional setting in the *Iliad* and the *Odyssey*, gods and heroes, epic battles and rivalries. It became the foundation of Western literature. Troy, or Ilium, was the site of the legendary war sparked by the abduction of Helen. Achilles, Hector, and the cunning Odysseus all fought there. It was the stage of heroes. For centuries, scholars believed Troy was purely a poetic invention, a backdrop for Homer's tales of courage and tragedy. Its supposed location, near the Dardanelles in modern-day Turkey. But most thought it wasn't real. Its walls and towers imagined by a poet's mind. Yet the vivid depictions of battles, the towering defenses, hinted at something more. Perhaps a real city that inspired the epic. Then in 1870, a German businessman turned archaeologist, Heinrich Schliemann, set out to prove that Troy truly existed. Guided by Homer's Iliad, he began excavations in northwestern Turkey, at a site known as the Sarlik, near the Dardanelles. And what he found was astonishing. Layer upon layer of cities, built and rebuilt over thousands of years. Its walls and artifacts proved continuous settlement from 3000 BC through the 13th century BC. Schliemann uncovered 9 distinct layers, each one a snapshot of Troy's long history. The layer known as Troivia dates to around 1200 BC and is widely believed to be the city described in Homer's epics. It shows signs of fire and violent destruction. Perhaps the very war told in the Iliad. Among the discoveries were bronze weapons, pottery, and a hoard of gold and jewelry. Schliemann called it Priam's treasure, believing it belonged to Troy's legendary king. Later dating revealed the treasure was centuries older than Priam himself. But the discovery cemented Troy as a real place. Strategically, Troy controlled access to the Black Sea, making it a prize worth fighting for. Homer's tales of its unbreakable walls proved true. Built of limestone and mud brick, some still stand several meters high today. The city's wealth came from trade and tolls, fueling its power, much like Atlantis and its command of the seas. The *Iliad 10-year siege may have been exaggerated, but archaeology shows Troy endured repeated conflicts, likely with Greeks or neighboring Hittites. The rediscovery of Troy transformed it from myth into history, proving that legends may rest on real foundations. So, could Atlantis also be a distorted memory of a real place? Its story still waiting to be unearthed. Next, we turn to Mycenae, the fortress of Agamemnon, the Greek king who led the war against Troy. In Homer's epics, Mycenae, in Greece's Peloponnesian Peninsula, was the heart of the Bronze Age Mycenaean civilization. From 1600 BC to 1100 BC, it thrived. And like Troy... For a long time, Mycenae was thought to be just a myth. Stories of King Eurystheus and the Cyclopean city were dismissed as mere legends. In the Iliad, it was described as a land of gold, a city of power and prestige, where rulers commanded mighty fleets. For centuries, these tales were seen as poetic embellishments, with no real evidence to back them up. Then came Heinrich Schliemann, fresh off his triumph at Troy. In 1876, he turned his spade toward Mycenae. Guided by Homer and the ancient Greek geographer Pausanias, he began excavating a hill near the modern town of Mykines. What he uncovered was a fortress matching the epic tales. The Lion Gate, a massive stone entrance, stood with 2 lions carved above it, greeting him. The colossal stonework was so massive it was said to be built by giants, earning the name Cyclopean. Beyond the gate lay a royal palace, with frescoes, grand halls, and storerooms, and a circle of tombs, overflowing with treasures, golden masks, bronze swords, and exquisite jewelry. The most famous find was the Mask of Agamemnon, a golden funerary mask, hailed as proof of the legendary king. Though later dating showed it was made centuries before his time. Still, these discoveries revealed a warrior culture, whose wealth and power shone through in mighty walls and lavish tombs. From around 1600 to 1200 BC, Mycenae was at its height, ruling the Aegean, with influence reaching Crete and Asia Minor. But around 1200 BC, the civilization began to decline. Historians point to many causes: the Dorian invasion, internal revolts, or even earthquakes destroying its foundations. By 1100 BC, Mycenae was abandoned. Its palaces collapsed, its glory fading into legend. The rise and fall of Mycenae mirrored the arc of Plato's tale of Atlantis. Prosperity, followed by collapse under internal and external pressures. Its Cyclopean walls and golden treasures echo Atlantis' rings of metal, its grand fortifications and lavish temples to Poseidon. In the early 20th century, German archaeologist Robert Koldewey began excavations at Tel Babil, ancient Babylon. There he uncovered a city that matched ancient descriptions. Under King Nebuchadnezzar II, Babylon reached its height. It became a sprawling metropolis, astonishing in its scale. The Ishtar Gate, one of 8 gateways, was adorned with blue-glazed bricks and reliefs of lions and dragons. A stunning sight to behold. Within the walls stood temples, ziggurats, and palaces, buzzing with life. Canals watered fertile fields, bringing prosperity to the land. The great ziggurat at Menenki may have inspired the story of the Tower of Babel, a massive stepped pyramid. It was dedicated to the god Marduk. And the Hanging Gardens, if they truly existed, may have been terraced gardens, with ingenious irrigation systems, lifting water to nourish lush greenery, though their exact location remains uncertain. Babylon's achievements were undeniable. The city gave the world the Code of Hammurabi, one of the earliest written legal codes, etched around 1754 BC. Its mathematicians and astronomers laid foundations for modern science, tracking the movements of the heavens with precision. And through trade across Mesopotamia, the city's wealth supported a society where art, religion, and governance flourished, making Babylon one of the great wonders of the ancient world. However, Babylon's downfall came as swiftly as its rise. In 539 BC, Cyrus the Great of Persia conquered the city. Later, the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC ended the plans to rebuild the Grand Ziggurat. By the time of the Islamic conquest, Babylon was abandoned, its bricks looted, its glory reduced to legend. But Koldewey's excavations revived its story, proving that this mythical city was real. Troy, Mycenae, and Babylon's rediscovery taught us a profound lesson. Myth can hide history. Each city was once thought to be fiction. Yet their ruins, walls, treasures, and inscriptions prove they existed. Troy's layered ruins confirmed a history of conflict. Mycenae's golden masks revealed a warrior elite. Babylon's glazed gates showcase Mesopotamia's splendor. These cities all share something with Atlantis: seafaring power, grand architecture, and sudden collapse. Could they have inherited the wisdom of a lost civilization, perhaps Atlantis? Some fringe theorists suggest a mother culture, a prehistoric source that spread technology worldwide. Mycenaean ships, Babylonian irrigation, Troy's fortifications. Could they all be echoes? Passed down through ages, whispers of Atlantean knowledge. Though speculative, the idea gains traction from striking similarities. Babylon's canals mirror Atlantis' rings. Mycenae's cyclopean walls echo its defenses. And Troy's trading hub resembles a maritime empire. Some even suggest alien influence, pointing to the precision of ancient engineering worldwide. Mainstream archaeology credits human innovation, but these rediscovered cities fuel hopes that Atlantis, too, might one day be found. If Homer's Ilium was proven real, could Plato's island be real too? Speculation about Atlantis and aliens gained traction in the 20th century. Writers like Erich von Däniken, in his 1968 book *Chariots of the Gods*, argued that ancient civilizations were shaped by extraterrestrial visitors. Von Däniken pointed to baffling engineering feats: the pyramids of Egypt, the stones of Stonehenge, the Nazca lines, as evidence of technology beyond human capacity at the time. And Atlantis, with its advanced canals, mysterious metal, and catastrophic end, fit perfectly into that narrative. Plato described a city with concentric rings, golden statues, and a navy that ruled the seas. Far too advanced for the Bronze Age. This led some to suggest the Atlanteans gained their knowledge from alien manners. Their mysterious metal, described as more precious than gold, might have been an alien alloy, perhaps even a superconductor, powering unimaginable machines. At the heart of this theory is the idea of Atlantis as a technological marvel. Plato described its water systems, canals, channels, and reservoirs in ways that suggest engineering mastery rivaling modern infrastructure. Its concentric walled rings, lined with metals, hint at a level of urban planning far beyond other ancient cities. The Temple of Poseidon, with its colossal golden statue, would have required metallurgy and engineering skills out of place for its time. Some theorists believe these achievements point to knowledge beyond our world, maybe even from a civilization of another realm. The sudden destruction of Atlantis in just one day and night of quakes and floods, adds fuel to this theory. Could it have been intentional? Aliens leaving, or destroying it, to keep humanity from using dangerous technology. This alien theory doesn't stop at Atlantis. It stretches to other ancient sites too. The Great Pyramids of Giza align perfectly with the stars. And at Puma Punku in Bolivia, giant stones are cut with laser-like precision. These are often cited as evidence of alien influence. Near Japan, the underwater Yonaguni Monument has geometric designs and is another focal point. Some claim it's a remnant of Atlantis or its Pacific twin, a lost mother continent. What all these sites share are engineering feats that seem impossible for the tools of their time. Believers argue that Atlantis was the central hub of a global network where aliens shared advanced technologies like crystal energy, anti-gravity systems, and even interstellar communication, until a catastrophe erased it from history. Myths and legends around the world add weight to these ideas. From every corner of the globe, ancient texts and oral traditions speak of godlike beings descending from the skies. The Sumerian epic of Gilgamesh tells of divine figures guiding humanity. And in Central America, myths of the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl, speak of a bearded man bringing knowledge to the people. In India, the Vedas describe Vimanas, flying chariots of the gods, celestial aircraft in the skies. These stories appear across seafaring cultures, suggesting a shared memory of extraordinary visitors. Could Atlantis have been their main outpost? A place where aliens and humans work together, building monuments to guide and inspire future generations. Perhaps the specific accounts of Atlantis' destruction only fuel more speculation. Plato describes earthquakes and floods in vivid detail. But conspiracy theorists suggest other causes. Some believe the disaster was triggered by aliens, maybe through targeted energy blasts, or weapons that destabilized the island itself. Others argue Atlantis' own technology worsened natural disasters. Imagine this: crystal-powered energy devices, sparking earthquakes and floods that swallowed the island whole. The lack of solid archeological evidence fuels these ideas. If Atlantis was that advanced, its remains may have been vaporized or deliberately hidden by its creators. Modern pop culture has amplified these theories, blending Atlantis into stories of alien contact. Movies like Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull link the Lost City to alien artifacts. TV shows like Ancient Aliens explore connections between Atlantis and sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey from 12,000 years ago, drawing links across time and cultures. These stories resonate because they tap into a deep human longing. The belief that our ancestors achieved greatness beyond our understanding, perhaps with a little cosmic help. The alien theory even ties into the Great Flood myths. Across many cultures, Sumerian, Biblical, Hindu, and Mesoamerican, we find tales of floods reshaping the world. Could these be memories of Atlantis sinking, triggered by a cosmic event? Some theorists suggest a comet or asteroid impact set off tsunamis and climate shifts, drowning coastal civilizations. Others argue it was alien intervention, a deliberate reset to redirect humanity's path. As far-fetched as these theories sound, but they resonate with today's concerns: climate change and the risks of unchecked technology. Atlantis became a mirror reflecting both our fears and our hopes. The reason Atlantis endures is because it stirs something deep inside us, a longing to explore the unknown, to uncover secrets buried by time. Plato's tale, written over 2,000 years ago, described a civilization so grand, it felt like a memory of a forgotten golden age, a city with copper rings, gleaming with orichalcum's glow, ruled by the descendants of gods, only to vanish under divine wrath. Whether it was a real place, perhaps inspired by Santorini and the Great Minoan eruption, or a lost island near Gibraltar, or simply a philosophical warning against hubris, Atlantis captivates us through its mystery. Its ambiguity draws us in. It's a riddle without a final answer, a question with endless interpretations. Is it beneath the waves, buried under desert sands? Or does it exist only in the mind? A mirror reflecting both our dreams and our fears.